So this video is going to be about the boundaries that I had set for him prior to him coming back into the relationship to hoover and gaslight me. Now, this is before I knew he was a narcissist. I just said, I know he's coming back, so let me go ahead and write down my boundaries that I want him to respect when he comes back, because I still wanted him. And this is the last time around, which is 4 weeks ago, the end. So, and I actually found my book that I had wrote it down in, and so I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all what it was. So one of the boundaries I was setting for him was, I will not be coming to pick you up to bring you back here to be with me. And I said that because every single time he discards me, the way for him to get back here is always me going to pick him up. So this is me cutting that off. If you want to be with me, show me you want to be with me. Get your own self here. Get your things, find your ride, get here. Now, what I would have done for him this time around, because it would have been different. I'm doing something different with these boundaries to get a different result. So, if he would have caught the train or the bus here, I would have picked him up from the bus station. Because you've already did the major traveling to get here. I would do that much for you. But to actually jump in my car, drive all of those miles there, and drive all those miles back here to bring you home, I'm not doing. I've done it, and every time I've done it, you've left me. So I'm not going to do that this time. You're going to have to find your own way here. All right? He did that. And this is another part of future faking. I think that's what it's called. Future faking. Future faking, sorry. This is another form of future faking, because he did top majority of these things that I asked. And I was surprised. That's why I gave him his little hand clap at the end before he walked out that door, because he lasted longer than I thought he would. So, but that's a whole nother thing. So, the first one was, I won't be coming to pick you up. You got to find your own ride back here. Okay? He did that. So, we checked that off the list. Now, the next thing is no running back and forth to our hometown for unnecessary things unless it is the two main things that we need to go back there for. If it ain't got nothing to do with that, or like a family occasion or something like that, we need to be home working on us. Because every time he comes back into the relationship, instantly we got to go back to his hometown. And you've only been here maybe 3 or 4 days. And by the end of that week that you're back here, we got to go back to visit your mom. Let me tell you about that. So, once he gets back here, he give it a couple of days or so. Next thing you know, his people are calling in. Now all of a sudden, all these parties is going on. Now all of a sudden, everybody wants him to do things for them now. But when he was there with them, you on the phone telling me, while you're gaslighting me and hoovering me to come back into the relationship, I'm done with everybody over here. They don't do nothing for me. I'm tired of asking people to do stuff for me, and then they lying to my face, telling me they not going to do it, telling me they going to do it 1 minute. Then I'm tired of them talking crap about me, this, that, and third. You made this big scene about how you're ready to come home and get away from the people that you're around right now, because it's a bunch of drama and you don't want to be around the drama. You want to come home and get things right with your family. Okay? But this is starting to be a recycling story, because it always ends up that way. Whether it be his family or his baby mama or whoever it is that he's staying with, he gonna complain about every single thing, and it really ain't happening. These are just lies that he's telling me to get back in with me, because he feels me pulling away. Okay? So the two things is I won't be coming to pick you up. If you want to come home, you got to find your own way. Now, with that, if he would have caught a bus or a train here, I'd have picked him up from the train station or the bus station. but I'm not driving all those miles. I don't know if I said that in the beginning, but if I did, take it all in love, just making sure I cover all my tracks. But yeah, so the second thing is we're not going to be jumping up and down, running back and forth, because I'm telling you, this man kept me on the road. Not this time around, but all of the 3 years back. We stayed on the road, putting all of those miles on my car, and I did not mind. I'm going to take my accountability for it. I did not mind because I love traveling. I just don't want to keep traveling to the same place over and over and over and over again. And so when I said I like to travel, he thought I wanted to go back home every time we turned around to the same place. And I'm just like, no, I want to go somewhere other than that. We'll make all these plans to go somewhere else, but we ain't never made it nowhere else. We've only been to the same 2 places every time we go out of town. I need a different scenery, sir. You said this time, we gonna go different places. Okay? Another boundary was no going out of town without me. Stop trying to leave me home, because every time you leave me home, we end up breaking up because you don't know how to act when you leave me to go out of town. So this is how it goes down when he goes out of town, because he's going to do work. Okay? This is what he's saying, because just to go and get away, and you just came back into the relationship, y'all can tell me whatever that is. Maybe that was him trying to keep the new supply intact and manage me all at the same time. Could be that too, you know what I'm saying? But we would instantly need to go back to where he came from for whatever reason. And so I told him, there's no more leaving and going out of town without me, because when you go out of town, you don't know how to act like you're in a relationship when you're away. So when you first started the relationship off, we sit on the phone. If you're away or whatever, we go to sleep on the phone. We sit on the phone all day or whatever. But now I know he was just keeping tabs on me, but I can't keep tabs on him. So yeah, we would sit on the phone and we would talk throughout the day. And then before it's time to go to bed, you would call me and we would go to sleep on the phone together. Now we get further into the relationship. You want to stop doing this stuff. Him going out of town was fine with me in the beginning, but then you started moving different. And I'm like, no, I don't like how you do things, because when you go out of town without me now, because he getting set in his ways, the mask is coming off. When he goes out of town, he completely forgets about me. This is what it felt like. But then he was trying to make me think I'm crazy and I'm just tripping every time he go out of town. So he goes out of town, and all of a sudden, when you're home, you answer your phone first ring. Now that you're out of town, it don't go straight to voicemail, but it rings till it goes to voicemail. And then he turns around and calls me back. I got an issue with that. You know, so I done played the game before or whatever, you know, so I'm just like, so you ain't gonna answer your phone, because now this is further in the relationship. He done this too many times, and I'm starting to catch on. So if you ain't answering the phone when I call you, and then you turn around and call me right back, that meant you was hiding something before you call me. You trying to make the person either be quiet, or you going to a quiet place there where you're not around the person who you're there with, so you can answer the phone and talk to me and play with me, because now you know I'm finna question you, and you know I want to see proof. So you want to go to a place where you can video chat me, so that way I can see that there's nobody there with you or whatever. It worked in the beginning. You know, it worked in the beginning, but it didn't work too many more times. So not only would he do that, you know what I'm saying, but then he would make up these arguments with me for no reason. I mean, would just start talking to me sideways and nasty for no reason. So in that time, I'm thinking, yeah, you sitting right there in front of whoever you're with. And so now you trying to play like I'm just a bugaboo, and I always get on your nerves, and all we do is argue or something like that. And I'm just like, we was just cool a minute ago, so why you talking to me like this? Like, you called me, asked me a question, we hung up, I turned around, called you, asked you a question, and now you acting like I've been aggravating you all day. He would do stuff like that. So I told him, you know what I'm saying, I don't want you going out of town without me. If you got work to do and I got to take you there, I might as well stay there with you. So don't make plans on the days that I have to work. Make them on the days that I'm off, so that way, if you need to be there for 2 days, I'm going to be there with you for 2 days. Because we not going to keep playing these games. And he agreed to that. So, when he came back, he did that. We did not go out of town without myself. And he did. He actually did go back. But he wasn't spending the night. It's only when he spends the night out of town without me is what I have a problem with. If he coming back home, then I don't, you know what I'm saying, I don't really trip about that. But it's to staying the night over and then you want to stay 2 nights, sometimes 3 weeks. I got an issue with that. I tried it. I let him do that and it ended badly. So I'm like, no more of that. He said, that's fine. He was like, I don't need to go out of town without you. You the driver. I'm not going to be driving anyway, so I don't need to go out of town without you. So he agreed with me and I'm just like, okay, because normally he want to fight me to the T about that going out of town thing. I don't need no mama. You not my mama. You ain't going to tell me what to do. I'm going out of town to go do work, this, that, and the third. Yes, sir, that's what you saying, but your action's showing different. So I'm going to go with what I'm feeling. And what I'm feeling is that if you go out of town without me, we gonna might as well go ahead and break up because it ain't going to be no relationship while you're out of town. So we're going to recap. So there's no picking you up when you want to come back, and there's no running back and forth to our hometown for unnecessary stuff. And I forgot the other one, but y'all heard the story anyway. So alright, so we moving on. So now we get to, your work is not that busy. If you're not getting paid to do the job, we're not going to waste money. And we're trying to get a house. So, since we were dating each other, we've been talking about getting a house together. Now, we were supposed to be moving back to his hometown. And so, which in the beginning, that's why he ended up paying all my bills and things. Because I was going to be looking for work in his hometown. So that way we can move there. So, we are looking for houses. We did that. But we never did end up in the house or whatever. So I was just telling him, you know what I'm saying, you keep hollering about you want to be in a house, but the way you're spending money and the way you getting played out your money, how are we going to get a house and add your income to it all at the same time? So it never happened. I'm thankful it didn't. But he played that role as, let's get a house. But my issue with us getting a house was that we had a place together. You ain't stayed in the place that we got together a whole consecutive year yet. And you got the audacity to holler about moving, putting all this pressure on moving out of a place that you ain't even stayed in long enough to holler about, let's move. I said, if anybody should be moving, sir, because he wanted to come back me about the situation. He's like, I don't want to stay here, and want to call out everything that he could possibly find wrong with this place. I'm like, sir, them things that you saying may be true. I said, but you still ain't stayed in this place for a whole consecutive year. So you need to pipe down on trying to force a move real quick. I said, because I'm not moving anywhere until I know for sure that we got somewhere to go. Because, see, he don't mind living in a hotel or rooming houses. I lived there with him one time before. I'm not going to do that again, sir. No, I want a house. But I'm going to do it the right way. So I still wanted to move into a house with him. But then as time went on and I got to see how he really moving, that light bulb went off in the end. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to move into a nice house with you when you like to play these Machiavelli games, meaning you like to just disappear and then pop back up whenever you're ready to come back. So I said, no, I won't do that. I said, When I feel comfortable and I know everything is set up and in place or whatever, I will move. I said, but it's going to be my income, based off solely my income, not yours. Because you done up and left me in this place too many times. I said, and that's what you want to do. You want to get me somewhere and trap me so that I need you in order to keep that place. I'm not going to play them games with you. Nope. I said, I'll stay right where I'm at until God says it's time to get a house. I said, but other than that, I'm not going nowhere. You're not going to take me out my comfort zone to leave me high and dry. You're not going to do that. So that's what I meant by we're not going to keep wasting money and we're trying to get a house. His money was tied into all kind of stuff. He got to pay this loan, get this loan, pay this person back, borrow money from this person, go get money from that person. I'm like, it's not going to work, sir. I don't see how us getting a house together with your income being tied up, I said, I don't think I see us being able to do that. I say, so I'm going to go solely off my income. You can put your funds in, but whatever we get, it's going to be something that I can afford. So now I'm like, we're moving forward. So he said, okay, I respect that. So he agreed to that. So now we're moving to the next thing. I said, okay, yeah. So I did talk about him not going out of town without me, this, that, and the third. Another thing, too, is when we would go out of town to where he was born at, sometimes we would go and see his daughter. And for some reason, he wasn't allowed to see his daughter by himself because the baby mama would always be there or whatever. And so she would come to our hotel room. Crazy, I know, but that's just how it was. She would come and bring the kids to our hotel room so he could see them and spend time with them or whatever. And, some of those times where he was like going out of town to go and see his daughter and stuff, he would get a room still and the baby mama and the kids would be there. Everything in me telling me that they still messed around. So that's why I had did it. Even though he introduced me to her and everything, I done played that game too. Introduced to the girlfriend and I'm the side chick or whoever, and I done played them games before. So I'm not going to sit here and feel like y'all ain't got something going on. Because he can call on her and she does whatever he tells her to do. So I just think that she was one of the supplies too. So I was just telling him that, whenever you want to go and see her, so I don't have no problem with stepping to the side. I can leave and, walk out or whatever, let you chill with your people, or you can chill outside. It's whatever. But for my sanity, don't go without me because you don't know how to act. Okay? So he had a bad habit of staring at women. When I say staring at women, I mean all day long. It's like he can't get enough. If he ain't staring at a real live woman, he on his phone staring at women. All day, every day. When time he wake up, feet hit the ground, he get up and he looking at women all day. Okay. He's very disrespectful with it. I've confronted him about it so many times. He piped down this last time, but it was still there. So, a couple occasions where I'm talking about we're riding in the car and women keep walking down the road. He turned around in the seat staring hard. We could be in the store walking past women. He will literally stand there and get stuck. When I say stuck, I'm talking about stuck. Like he can't move. He can't see. He can't even hear me saying, bae. Bae. He don't hear nothing. He gets zoned in because he looking at her bottom. He gets so zoned in, he don't hear nothing around him at all. And if you turn around and look at him, if you're the person he's staring at, he ain't gonna make it no secret that he's staring at you. He gonna look you dead in your eyes. I mean, I sat right there and watched the whole thing play out. And I'm like, take a picture to last longer. He was like, oh, no, I was looking at her shoestrings, how she had her shoestrings tied. I mean, would come up with the dumbest stuff to make me believe that he was not standing there staring at that woman like he was staring at her. I'm talking this everything but him looking at her butt. Everything. I mean, this man was telling me one time, I was looking at the way she had her belt loop. She missed a belt loop when she put a belt on. And can describe a woman to the T. I mean, it's like he turned on X-ray vision or something when he's staring at a woman, because we can get back in the car and he gonna talk about just what he seen in that store. And he gonna tell me about 5 or 6 women that he seen in the store. He gonna tell me their body type, their hairstyle, what color they was, how tall they was, how many kids they had with them, what kind of groceries they had in the basket. I mean, the man got a memory, visual memory out of this world. The stuff that he done seen while we're in the same place looking at the same people, I ain't seen none of that. I ain't seen nothing. I'm telling you, it's so bad. So I'm telling him, you know, all the women that you have ties with, sexually or money-wise, need to be cut off. Because at this point, I'm learning who he is. Or I know there's stuff going on or whatever. And so sometimes I would hear him, like prior, you know, back in the day when we first started dating or whatever, I would hear him on the phone arguing with people and stuff. And I'm just like, dang, that conversation sounded like you talking to her, like you her man. But then I brushed it off, because sometimes he do. When he talk to women, he talk like he over them or something. And they just sit there and they listen. And I'm like, I've caught him talking to me a couple times like that. And I'm like, but we in a relationship, so it fits for him to talk to me like that. But why are you answering your phone and you talking to these people the way that you're talking to them? Like, that's who you living with and that's who you're with. Just had me a little bit confused in the beginning, but I'm sure of what it was now. So him and all of his different women that he had ties to, I was asking him to cut them off. He said, okay. But he said, I ain't going to cut off my prayer warriors. I'm starting to learn that because when he said prayer warriors to me, I automatically thought spiritual, and I thought that these were people who were giving him good guidance and, you know, pray for him when he need prayer and things like that. Nope. The prayer warriors are his supply, his clique of women that he have in rotation. That's who the prayer warriors is. I ain't never talked to none one of the prayer warriors. We done had so many problems. I got prayer warriors who's willing to talk to the both of us. But your prayer warriors don't do nothing like that. I ain't never heard no voices. I ain't never talked to these people before. But you say prayer warriors, so I'm like, okay, that's good. We got people we can connect to and stuff. So, yeah, I told him he needed to cut off all those women that he have ties with, money-wise, sexual-wise, or whatever. Get rid of them if you want to be with me. He said, done. He said, the only thing I'm not going to get rid of is my prayer warriors. And I'm like, okay, no, you need prayer, so you ain't got to worry about the prayer warriors. As long as they're just prayer warriors, that's fine. Okay? So, he agreed to that. He came in, and he seemed like he was taking into considerations the boundaries that I put out for him. When it came to looking at women, when we get out in public and stuff, he would look, but he didn't do that long stare, turn around in the seat, look deep into her soul look that he normally does when he look at women. And the look that he was giving me when he was here last was, okay, look, there are beautiful women in this world. Hell, I look sometimes, but I'm not staring until they catch me staring at them. That's not how you do things, and you're in a relationship. So, move past that. Then I was telling him about, you know, you keep saying that we're going to get married, this, that, and the third. And so one time I did ask him what was the holdup on why you haven't got down on your knee and proposed with a ring. And he said it was because of money. So I'm like, okay, you know, and I called my sister and asked about that, and she was like, you shouldn't even have to ask him anything about proposing. She was like, because if a man gonna propose, he gonna propose. And so I was like, yeah, you're right about that. That was my mess up for, you know, asking him. But I was just curious, and I wanted to know what the holdup is on you proposing and getting the ring or whatever. And he said it was the money. So I'm looking at things, and I'm like, you done came across a lot of money a whole bunch of times, and you still ain't came and gave me no ring or nothing. And then he started buying me these rings off of Temu and Shein and trying to give them to me as engagement rings with no proposal, but just giving me these rings. And I'm just like, no, sir, that's not going to work for me. That's not going to work for me. So he did play with the boundaries that I set up for him, but in the end, it still was all fake. Fake future in me. Still was never ever going to be anything other than just using me. So I'm telling you, they will go to great lengths to get what they want. But this time around, because it was the end for me, he didn't get what he was looking for. Not what he normally get. He didn't get that because a lot of things changed 4 weeks ago. So, yeah, those are some of the boundaries that I set for him, and he still played on it. So I'm telling you, you can set the boundaries, but you got to stick to them. Now, I put these boundaries out, and I did give him consequences if he didn't stand on the boundaries that I set for him. And so that kind of pushed him along too. I wasn't playing the radio this time around. So when I was done, I was done. So y'all have a good day and stay tuned for more videos.